Hello, it's Peter G. McKinnon, or Peter Gord McKinnon, or Pete Gord McKinnon. Call me what you will. I don't know. It's good to be back. I'm getting in the swing of things. Yeah, I'm looking like John Lennon again as to what I've been going through. But hey, you don't need to know that. All you need to know is who's my next guest. I think you all know that because I put a promo out. So that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyway, he is a London man, a London boy. We'll be talking to this man coming up. But really, it's good to be back. It is really good to be back. I've been away for a while with being absolutely bloody sick and tired of myself. So it's a horrible joke. I'm a bad talk show host. Anyway, enough of me babbling on. I haven't got any jokes or wisecracks to give you. Anyway, let's head out, Charlie. I'll see you in a bit with my next guest. And here he is. My next guest is Stu from Universal Toys. I nearly forgot his moniker. I don't know. And here he is.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, and Jeremy Jims. Anyway, let's get into it. Hello, Rolando. He's popped up.
Hello, Rolando. Yes. He gets about, doesn't he, old Rolando? He's everywhere. Good man, Rolando. Nice to see you again, my son. Thank you.
How are you, Stu? How are you, sir?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, been busy boy. Work and lots of other things going on. So, Georgie, she's in the chat as well. Hello, Georgie. Yeah. But no, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. More to the point, how are you? I've heard you've not been feeling too good.
Yeah, it's been an uphill battle with the stuff that I've been going through. I won't bore you everybody with the details. As it's
thank you.
It's a little bit what people call a little bit manky because the subject talking about it in a flat that I'm in is I just feel really manky and
is it getting sorted? Is it getting sorted? That's the question. Is it getting sorted?
Slowly is getting sorted. I got a professional guy to actually come and dare I say I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag here. Spray all around my apartment because it got that bad.
So hang on. Let me get this straight. You've let some strange professional man in, and you've let him spray all over your apartment. I don't know what kind of things you're into, Pete, but it sounds interesting, mate. I can tell you that.
Yes. Does sound interesting, doesn't it?
And, it does. And you were saying because I heard you backstage, you said you with the glasses and the hair, you look like John Lennon, right? You just need to dye your hair black, and you look more like Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
I used to watch that program, actually. By the
way, Osbournes. The
Osbournes.
He's a legend. Old Ozzy Osbourne. What a legend he is.
Bless him, because he's got Parkinson's disease now.
Well, yeah.
And, I hear that he's wants to go back on stage. He's fighting to go back on stage, and he says he doesn't care about Parkinson's disease. Really, he just wants to go and entertain.
Do you think, Pete? Do you think that people at that age, like it's a bit like Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones, they just keep going on and performing? Do you think there comes a time when you've got to say, right, enough's enough? I've done my bit. Let the younger generation come through. Let them have some. Because I want to remember Ozzy Osbourne for when he was younger, for what he used to do. And it's the same with the Stones. I want to remember them for how great they were when they were, first started in the 70s and stuff like that. And I don't want to see him, dodgy old man on stage at 80 years old singing a dance. You know what I mean?
I guess they for the Stones, I guess they kind of, dare I say it, have to, because now that what's his name, Taylor has passed away.
Hmm.
What's his name? The drummer passed away, and
Oh, that was the Foo Fighters. That was Taylor Hawkins, wasn't it, from the Foo Fighters?
uh,
Are we talking about? Are we talking about the same guy?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Uh,
Oh, I don't know. Oh, what's the drummer's name? I can't remember the drummer's name.
Rolling Stones drummer passed away not so long
Yeah, yeah.
ago.
Yes, that's it.
Uh, but are you talking about Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, I was talking about Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones, and you said
Um,
Tyler or Taylor, and
yeah.
I thought the only drummer that I know with the name Taylor was Taylor Hawkins from the Foo
Okay.
Fighters. So yeah.
I forgot his name.
Anyway,
But
anyway.
I guess they could actually retire. I mean,
Yeah, why don't they? I would. Jesus Christ, they've made their money, haven't they?
I know. And no wonder Keith hasn't departed.
Well, yeah.
Keith Richards, but he's hilarious. So,
He's a boy, isn't he? He's a boy.
uh, uh, I want to ask, getting on to toys,
Yep.
is that same old question that probably asked everybody else. Uh, what was your childhood like in collecting toys?
Well, so when I was younger, I had two sisters, and I still do have two sisters. But yeah, so I had two sisters when I was younger. So my mum and dad had three kids to sort of like provide for. So early days, I would have. I grew up with Star Wars. Predominantly, Star Wars was my thing. I had other toys as well. I used to have the table flick football called Subbuteo.
Oh,
I used
all
to
right.
have
Yeah.
pitch up in the teams, and we used to have World Cups and leagues and stuff like that with friends. And I'd set up a tournament with my dad every now and again. But predominantly, it was Star Wars. So I had a lot of the Star Wars figures. I had a lot of the Star Wars vehicles. I was into other toy lines like Transformers, GI Joe, Masters of the Universe. Those were the big four back in the day for me, anyway. Um, Although I didn't have much um, like Transformers and other bits and bobs, it was predominantly Star Wars. But my friend used to have. He was an only child, so he used to have loads of toys: Star Wars, Master of the Universe, Action Force, Transformers. So every weekend, I would used to pop round his house on a Saturday morning or a Sunday, and we'd just spend the day from like say 8 o'clock in the morning, which really annoyed his mum, and until about 4, 5 in the afternoon, and we just play. We'd just play all day. It would be, we'd play Transformers, you know, about half the day, then go on to Subbuteo or play Star Wars. But predominantly, it was Star Wars and GI Joe, and then as we kind of got older, we started going into the Subbuteo more and doing the table football. Spend a couple of hours playing that and doing leagues and stuff and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, first memories of Star Wars, I remember seeing it on the telly. I was too young to go and see it at the pictures. And I can remember getting an X-Wing for one of my Christmas presents. And saying that, I've just been on a live with Scuba Pete, and he gifted me this when I saw him at Star Wars Celebration, and it's the Kenner version. So you've got the electric. Where's it gone? The light just there. Where is it? Yeah, my finger's in the way. The electric light there. You've got the button there to do the sounds. I need to get that fixed. And then you've got the battery compartment there. So in the UK, we had the Palatoy version. So that was one of my first Christmas presents,
Right.
an X-Wing. And I'd never seen it in the film. So I got the toy before I'd actually seen the film. And then I can remember seeing the film. And when I saw the X-Wings and the S-Foils opened up and the wings opened up, I was just like blown away. I was like, wow, that is so cool. So cool. And then obviously the Empire Strikes Back came out. And then a few years later, it was Return of the Jedi. That was the film that I remember seeing at the pictures, Return of the Jedi. And again, mind blown. I just absolutely loved it. And my childhood for those, it wasn't just for the toys, but I had a good childhood. I was very lucky. My mum and dad provided and did the best they could for us, the three of us. We never went without. I didn't have as many toys as my friend did, but he was an only child, so I had two sisters. But I was very thankful and appreciative of the toys I had. And if I had lost a toy or broke a toy, I'd be quite upset by it. But toys were meant to be played with them back then, weren't they? So yeah. Yeah, Star Wars was the big thing back in the day, absolutely, and it's still my main, say, bread and butter, if you will.
I got something in common here because when you mentioned Subbuteo, I had a friend and with Subbuteo, and we used to play Subbuteo.
Oh, it's great, wasn't it? How cool was it?
It was really good. It was really fun,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, he had whole teams, and then I collected the whole teams because they were just all. I mean, British football was big when I was younger, hugely big when I was younger.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was a toy company called Waddington's that used to do the teams and stuff like that, and we used to have it when it first came out. Subbuteo, it was the old cloth pitch, and then a few years later, it sort of like progressed and it became the AstroTurf, and it was like an roll, and it was like a thick kind of felt. You'd lay it out, and you'd have to leave it for room temperature for about 40 minutes or so for it to flatten out. And we used to get the goals. We used to pin the goals down. We used to have a big board that we put the pitch on. We had fencing around the side, the scoreboard. Oh, it was fantastic. Absolutely loved doing that, and that would keep us occupied for absolutely hours. And I can remember at school we used to have the last day of term, and it was like bring your toys in. So me and my mate, we used to bring our Subbuteo in and stuff like that, and bits would get bloody broken and or they'd go missing, and I'd be absolutely gutted because I loved that sort of stuff when I was younger. And I say, although it was meant to be played with, I was always disappointed when things got broken or things went missing and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was great. Absolutely love Subbuteo.
It's one way to kind of while you way through life is playing with toys when you're a kid.
Oh yeah,
and, losing them in the sand pits.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my trick. Losing them in the sand pits and never seeing them again. So when you progressed through teenagehood, did you still find the love of collecting? Did you?
When I was younger, I never classed myself as a collector. So when we got to 15, 16, I sort of like phased out of playing with like Star Wars and G.I. Joe and stuff like that. We did, however, carry on playing Subbuteo because that we found that was a more adult kind of game. So that carried on going until probably, I would say 18, 19, I was playing that. As far as Star Wars stuff is concerned, my original Star Wars toys were given away to a close family friend. It was my dad's best man at his wedding, and he'd had a little kid. And my stuff was just up in the loft, and it was just sitting in. It was in perfectly good nick. And he come round one day, and Dad said to me, "Oh, do you want your Star Wars stuff up in the loft?" And I just thought nothing of it. And I thought, well, 19 now, no. So he gave this guy all my Star Wars stuff, and I watched it go down the garden path into this other guy's car and drive off down the road. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, we went round their house.
You should hear the sad music.
Yeah. There were violinists outside playing. Yeah. And
you're reaching out your hand of the car.
No, but like that, yeah, absolutely. It was one of those moments.
I digress.
No, that's fine. And we went round their house a couple of weeks later, and I was dismayed. It was in ruins. I was like, oh, why have I done that? But it wasn't until I think 19. When was Power of the Force 2? That line come out. So I think that must have been about 1994, 95. That was a big steroid figures, like He-Man, not He-Man, Luke on drugs and steroids and stuff like that. So I got into collecting those. I was so excited because you didn't have the internet in those days, did you? So you couldn't know what was coming out. It was only in like you go to your local comic shop and they'd have these magazines with all the latest releases, what's coming out. So I'd flip through the back of those. Oh, there's Star Wars stuff, and that was fantastic. And I was really excited. Then I saw the figures. I was like, oh, what? this isn't Star Wars. The card's not even the same. So 1995, Rolando, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. So yeah, but listen, it was Star Wars. We hadn't had anything from Star Wars for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So I was all over that, and I collected. I got every single figure that come out in that line. So I had the orange carded figures, I had the green carded figures, and I didn't get the vehicles. I kept the figures, but yeah, I sold them. I sold them about 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah, they were quite funny. Yeah. They were quite funny, the Power Force 2 figures, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was built like a brick shit house.
Who was this? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
And that Princess Leia. That Princess Leia. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just
like, you can call me Princess. What's your name? Liar. Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, Princess Leia.
Are you small to be a stormtrooper, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
My impression of Cockney thing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
See what you did there. Awesome.
So, yeah. But and it's funny because I collected Smurfs when I was younger.
Okay.
They were sold in a BP station around the corner from in my hometown of Nelson, and similarly to your friend father taking, or giving away the figures.
Yeah.
I gave away my Smurf figures because I had 99, one off 100, I dare say. And when I was a teenager, to my niece. To play with, because I didn't really need them anymore, and because I was turning a teenager and stuff like that. So I had a different track with collecting action figures. I went right off the rails with drinking. And magazines I was looking at was what different
toy magazines were they? Yeah.
Alcohol I was going to drink next. I'll have a gin straight. That will do me for the next 10 years. But yeah, so
you were saying about Smurfs, Pete.
Yeah.
You said you had 99. Were there that many different Smurfs then, or was it just was it like the same Smurfs but just in different poses and different costumes and stuff like that?
Yeah,
I've never collected them. I mean, I saw the Smurfs. I watched them as a kid on the cartoons.
Like Happy Smurf, Birthday Smurf. You had a Smurf on a bike, boxing Smurf with a little punching bag. You had Smurf houses. I had Smurf houses with mushroom Smurf Smurfettes, Papa Smurf.
Were there different variants of those figures then, Pete?
Yeah, they had presents molded into their, Smurfness, if you could say, or Robinness. So you had, they're all, all types, different types. Like Farmer Smurf was dressed up in a straw hat and suspended. You had Mechanic Smurf.
Well, there you are.
Wrench. Dressed up in a green overalls and stuff like that. So. I enjoyed it. I loved collecting Smurfs. Each and every week there were 5 new Smurfs in the BP station. They sold them in the BP station, not a shop, but a BP station. Yeah. And it was so much fun. It was like a hunt.
Yeah, definitely. And you were 1 away from 100.
Yeah, I was 1 away from 100. But you kind of have to grow up sometime and. So they're still around, apparently.
Yeah. But going back to your question, Pete, I don't think I've always had something there with the films and with action figures and stuff like that. And what I have now, I think this is my third proper collection, and this has been over a period of say 10, 12 years. Of collecting. Like I say, my first lot of Star Wars toys, the original Star Wars toys, I didn't class that as a collection because I still played. then I had the Power of the Force, which led into the Phantom Menace line of figures. I had those, but then I got married, situation changed, that went. Then I got divorced, and then situation changed again. So I thought I'd start collecting again. So I did. And that was around, when would that have been? That would have been around 2010, because I think it was the vintage collection had just come out, and
Yeah.
I wasn't really into it too much. So I started collecting, what do you call it? The original Star Wars figures. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I sold all my Star Wars stuff again, everything. But I kept a couple of the original figures. So then I'm potting around, and it must have been 2011, 2012, something like that. I had a Dengar figure, and I thought, do you know what? I like those figures. I like the original figures. So I went on eBay, and I got the rest of the bounty hunters. So I had the 6 bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, do you know what? I like the Empire Strikes Back. I think it's a great film. I'm going to collect the Bespin figures, like Lando, Lobot, the Ugnaughts, the 2 guards. So I got them. And then in the end, it just went on like that. I just collected little bits from the Empire Strikes Back. And then soon I had the whole of the Empire Strikes Back, all the figures from the Empire Strikes Back. I wasn't too into variants. I wasn't worried about the variants at the time. So I got them, and I thought, do you know what? I never really had. I had Star Wars figures, but I didn't have any from the New Hope, because by the time I was collecting Star Wars back when I was a kid or into Star Wars, I'd missed out on that original New Hope line or Star Wars line. So I went back and I got myself all the figures from Star Wars, the first movie, and I had all them. It was just a Return of the Jedi. So then I've got them now, and I'm 9 shy away of completing the 96, original 96. But they're all bloody last 17, aren't they? So they're going to cost an arm and a leg. So I've knocked that on the head for the time being. But I've said before, my one, I wouldn't say regret. In hindsight, I wish I would have collected and finished off the 96 before I started getting anything modern.
Right.
Because I would have had those figures now. And you look at the prices now, and they have skyrocketed. They're so expensive. And I just, with the times we're living in, Pete, I can't justify turning around and spending 300-400 quid on a 3 3/4 inch figure. I just, I can't do that now. It's
you mean the original 300?
The original ones, the original 96.
Right.
Like the R2-D2 with the pop-up lightsaber.
Oh, right.
Imperial Dignitary, the Death Star gunner. You've got Barada. I've got the other Ewok Warwick that I need. I've got EV-99 and Luke in Poncho to get, and I think that's it.
Yes, I mean prices are huge, but I mean then comes the 6-inch, right? Which I think, from my opinion, no one really saw coming, right?
No, absolutely, yeah.
It's just a line that's probably taken off by
it has. I mean, the first I saw of the the Black Series was, we had the Toys R Us near us in our local town, and we've got, is that Blue Sasquatch?
And Blue Sasquatch.
Keep on collecting. How you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us. So my first sighting of those was the Star Wars 40th anniversary figures on the original card backs, but they were just 6-inch, and I was like, these are fantastic. These look great. So the ones that we had in store, I made sure that I got every, each figure, or so, and then that's how Black Series started, and I was like, these are great, and I love the card backs. And then I found out that they did them in the red and black standard boxes as well. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I just like that, and I like that, and that's how it starts, isn't it? You see things, you like it, and I must have that, and I must have that.
But the prices probably back then were all right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could get
for a song But now
Yeah.
it's just like the rising inflation, not to get all
Yeah.
financial here, but the rising inflation,
Yeah.
the prices, either they don't go up, right? So,
Mm. Well, you
um,
could get back then. I think it was around about when was the 2017 would have been the 40th anniversary for Star Wars: A New Hope. Yes, it would have been.
mm,
Back then, you could get 2 figures for £30. Now they are selling deluxe sets, the Black Series, for 34 quid, 40 quid.
mm.
Some of them you can find,
Guess how much
and you
they're
just
selling
think,
here?
go on,
Guess how much they're selling here in Toy World, right?
yeah,
Which is a boutique kind of toy thing, is $80 for a deluxe.
80. Really?
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
outrageous. I mean, that is
Yeah. For
how.
EB Games, it's about for a deluxe, it'll be about $65 to $70. Right.
Will
Uh,
they come down though? Will they come down in sale? Will they be reduced at some point?
Well, you probably have to wait another year before they come down, or a few months before they come down. Um, we
Crazy, isn't
don't
it?
really we don't
Crazy.
have really a clearance. Basically, sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. It's the luck of the luck of the month or the draw really for EB
What?
Games here in New Zealand. So
Yeah.
they do
What?
go on clearance, but it takes a long time before they do go on clearance.
Yeah. Well, what got me, Pete, was the fact that because you had to do the pre-order thing, and it could have been with any like sort of like toy line. It would have been Master of the Universe or GI Joe, Star Wars. Everything was pre-ordered, and if there's a figure that was really like, oh yeah, popular, you want to get that pre-order in,
Mm,
because if you
mm,
didn't get that pre-order in, you guarantee that if you wanted that figure and the pre-orders are sold out, you'd have to go on the secondary market. We all know what the secondary market's like. I
mm.
won't lie, it's expensive, and people do bump the prices up.
It's
And because of
excruciatingly
that, it is,
painful.
and I didn't want to pay those secondary market prices, so that's why I went in and. But now you do that, and then like 2 or 3 months later down the line, you see that same figure on the same website, and they've knocked the price down, or you see it in store for a reduced price.
Mhm.
I don't rush to get the figures now. All I do is I will just wait for them to come down in price, get them either online or go into a store and pick them up. I mean, Game, we've got a store called Game, and
Mm.
initially it did just sell Xbox games, PlayStation games, those kind of things. It was a game store for like online gaming, but now they, a bit like HMV, who just sold DVD, CDs, and T-shirts. They've now gone down the route of selling action figures because they need to expand because they went into financial difficulty. So
Yeah,
now,
I could probably
yeah,
see that.
yeah,
We
and
had
now you see these
yeah,
figures in these stores, but they're at a reduced price.
yeah. We had HMV store years ago, absolutely years ago. Um,
Oh, hang on, sorry. Let's keep on collecting's got a question there. Do you want to pop that up on the screen? Because I haven't got my
yeah,
glasses, so I can't see that. What's he said?
where are you? There? Is it
There
that
you are.
one?
Stu, if you had the money and space, which toy line would you delve into and why? If I had the money and space, I would definitely be into the original O-ring GI Joes. I loved that toy line as a kid. The space wise, because then I can get the flag and I could just have that decked out and do what like Scuba Pete's done and GI Joe Berg and just put the stuff underneath it. I
And
mean,
yeah, and
they
Andrew
had.
from Collecting. So
Oh, okay.
Andrew's got
Yeah.
flag.
Absolutely. That's
So
it. Yep. So
yeah,
I would be doing GI Joe, but I wouldn't collect the whole of the line. I would collect from the 19 when it started. I think it was 1982. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from then onwards, the original 13 figures that they had, and I would say I'd collect up to 1986, 87, because I think after that it just started to get silly with the Eco Warriors and the Illuminous costumes and stuff like that. But they had so much cool stuff. The vehicles, you had Rolling Thunder, you had the Defiant, you had the Flag, you had all the different water moccasins, the Hydrofoil, the Whale, the Sky Striker, the Rattler. Then you had the little vehicles like the AW Strike Jeep, the Ferret, the Night Attack Jeep, the Ram motorcycle. How cool were those as kids. I love that stuff. And if I had the money and the space, that would be the line that I'll get into.
See,
Absolutely.
when you just actually said Rolling Thunder, I think that's a lyric off a song. But
Okay.
we won't go into that.
No,
so,
good. You don't want to hear us singing. You don't want to hear us singing.
no. Thanks, Matt, for that question.
Yeah, thank you, man.
But yeah, I never got into G.I. Joe, Stu.
Okay.
Never. I actually, I tell a lie. When I was a kid, I had Cobra, 3 3/4.
Okay.
But from then on, I have never had any interest in collecting GI Joe, 6 inch or 3 3/4. What fascinates you with that? With that with GI Joe? What fascinates you by collecting that?
I think just the range, the vast range that the military side of things it did fascinate me. I mean, you look at the AWE Strike Jeep. I mean, that what a great looking vehicle that was. I mean, it had the suspension as well, so that was pretty cool. You had like the Cobra Rattler. What a great vehicle that was. And I loved the uniforms and the costume, or the outfits the guys wore, like G.I. Joe. You had some really great figures from whether it's Cobra or G.I. Joe. I really, as cheesy as they were now, but I like the cartoons. I like the animated series. I loved reading the comics. I mean, I thought the comics were great. I did start collecting the IDW comics a while back.
Right.
I think it must have been 2010 that I started collecting those, and they were really gritty comics. And I thought, oh, do you know what? This reminds me why I used to like this toy line as a kid. I didn't have much myself because I was predominantly like Star Wars. That was my toy line that I collected. I couldn't. My mum and dad didn't want to like buy me too many like different toy lines, so Star Wars was the main one. But GI Joe, yeah. I mean, as a kid, I didn't realize that they'd done the flag. I mean, that was in America. I didn't realize they'd done the Defiant, and I didn't realize they'd done the Rolling Thunder. And it's only since I've been collecting and got to know people like Scuba Pete and the guys from Keep On Collecting, Andy and Matt, and everybody else in the community, that I realized, and it's opened up a whole new world of collecting for me. As in, this is what they've got over in America and stuff like that. And it's the same with Scuba Pete. The Palatoy Action Force line wasn't big in America. It was hard to come by because that was that was the UK's version of GI Joe. So Pete's gone back with loads of bits and bobs that he finds difficult. The information there is a YouTube channel that runs 24-hour GI Joe animated cartoon from 80. Oh, cool, awesome stuff. Yeah, I've got Amazon Prime or Prime Video, so I've downloaded all the animated seasons from the original GI Joe series. But I tell you what, I did like. I liked that the latest one they did, which was GI Joe Renegades. I thought it was very A-teamish the way they started it, like these guys that were on the run for doing a crime they didn't commit or anything like that. But I enjoyed that. I thought that was good. That was good.
Do you think it's because it's got again? Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think it's a direct correlation to Action Man, G.I. Joe, or not?
As in the 12-inch.
Or the storyline or the action thing.
Yeah, you see, I was never into the 12-inch Action Man, and I know a lot of people are. And listen, I love looking at people's collections. It just wasn't one thing that I was into, and I don't think that I would go down that route of collecting the 12-inch Action Man because I just don't have the space and or the money. But we had a 3 3/4 version Action Man because Star Wars came about and it was such a success with the figures and the toy lines and stuff like that, and it was just like 3 3/4 inch figure, and GI Joe and Action Force turned around and said, well, we've got to do something that's smaller, that line. So that's where they come up with Action Force. And Action Force, we had like 4 different sections. We had SAS Force, we had Z Force, we had Space Force, and Q Force. And the enemy was Baron Ironblood and the Red Shadows and stuff like that. And you had Major, the Black Major, as his. But they were all 5 POA figures. They were very much in again, it was all Palatoy. Palitoy was basically the UK's version of Kenner. So, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't into Action Man or Action Force that much. But as soon as I saw the posability of the O-ring figures from G.I. Joe, I was like, yeah, that's amazing. And like I say, they had some great vehicles. The Tomahawk, and the one thing about that line, and it's the same with the Star Wars line as well. The 3 3/4 inch, you've got so much world building and playability with it. Whereas I think the 6-inch figures, you can't world build those. They look great on display. Don't get me wrong. I love 6-inch for display purposes. But if I was a kid, I'd be having the 3 3/4 inch all the time because you can world build. You can build different bits and bobs. You've got vehicles that you can use that are easy to. I mean, back in the day, the Falcon was quite a big vehicle to. I mean, I wasn't the biggest kid. I mean, I've got some pretty big pecs and guns now. Check me out. But yeah, other than that, it was a pretty big vehicle. So, and some of the G.I. Joe stuff was fairly big to maneuver around.
It's got a big comment here by Duffman. Probably basically not going to read all that because
wow. I will never forget 1985, walking downstairs Christmas morning, and the flag, and it's gone now. I can't see it, Peter. I was reading it out to you.
Sorry.
Thank you. I shall start again, Peter. Thank you. I will never forget 1985, walking downstairs Christmas morning, and the flag and Millennium Falcon and the Ewok Village all sitting there, already assembled on top of the boxes. Best day ever. I would say, Duffman. Absolutely. I mean, I would love to get a flag, but it's going to cost an absolute fortune to buy it in the first place. B, the shipping costs would be extortionate, and so would the import tax. And I've already been stung with the barge, so I don't want to be going down that route again. My wife, bless her cotton socks, wouldn't be happy. And we just wouldn't have anywhere to display it. I mean, if we did move to the States one day, which is, a dream of ours, then I'd be all over that flag. I'd be getting it. Yeah, there you go. Get it in. In you come. Like that. I would love to. The Ewok Village, we've got the Ewok Village, or my wife has. We're just a couple of bits away of completing that. And the Millennium Falcon, what a great ship that was. The original Millennium Falcon. Absolute love that as a kid. I mean, come on, those were the best days, weren't they? Absolute quality with the toy lines we had. And it was just different times.
It's a shame that Kenner kind of didn't corner the market, really. They, I don't know what the problem was, but I think they were fighting to keep Kenner alive, and I don't think they could.
There's always a bigger fish, isn't there? There's always a bigger fish out there that's take over and buy people out, and Hasbro with that company. I mean, so Kenner and Palitoy, although they weren't, directly linked together, they did have a kind of understanding between each other. So with the vehicles, for the Palitoy vehicles, the Action Force vehicles, you had the figures, but they only had 5 points of articulation, and you couldn't sit the guys in the vehicles that well. So that's when Palitoy then went to Kenner and said, look, can we have some of your O-ring design figures to go with our vehicles only? And that's when they sent over people like Tripwire, Destro was another one. They were called different names. So Tripwire was called Blades, and he came with the SAS Hawk helicopter. You had the original Commando Snake Eyes. He got sent over. He was called Stalker and went with the SAS. No, he didn't. He came with the SAS Jeep. And that's how it rolled in those days. And that's where we saw our first O-ring figures with these vehicles that come out, and they were great. And that's what got me into G.I. Joe. Or at that time, it was Action Force still in the UK, and you had people Gung Ho, Major Blood, Cobra Commander. They all came over, and that was all part of Action Force. And they come on the red and yellow cards that the original Action Force figures came on, and then that sort of like Action Force faded away, and then G.I. Joe kind of like took over and stuff like that, and that's where G.I. Joe came into it.
Kind of cornered the market, didn't it? G.I. Joe, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It took over, like you say. There's always a bigger fish, and
Yeah.
again, G.I. Joe is a bigger fish.
Yeah.
But I like how they incorporate the names like Outback, right? For their, like, Australian. You can actually imagine
Yeah.
it's Australian
Yeah.
characters. They haven't done a New Zealand one yet, but they may in time.
They may do.
The Kiwi grunt or something like that.
Well, when Action Force first came over, it was Action Force International Heroes.
Right.
That's what it was in the UK. So instead of saying Yo Joe, it was Full Force, and that's what the UK version of it did. And then it went. So we had the Action Force cartoon come out, and then obviously the Americans with G.I. Joe. Then Action Force just faded off, and because I think when Palatoy went, I think that was when Action Force went. I could be taking complete and utter rubbish, but that's from what I've heard. That's how things sort of like went in those days.
Going back to 6-inch, do you think that it's again cornered the market with everything? I mean, we've still got 3 3/4, but there is
we have. I think with 6-inch, I definitely feel, where Star Wars is concerned, that they are putting all their eggs into one basket with the 6-inch. Is like that's definitely their pride and joy. That's their baby, sort of thing. The 6-inch figures you're getting, the full Bad Batch team. They've come out in 6-inch. You've not had them in 3 3/4 inch. You've had one figure come out, Hunter, for 3 3/4 inch TVC.
Right.
Whereas the Black Series, they've got all and the quality is just the same. I mean, the quality of the 3 3/4 inch figures now are just as good as the Black Series figures, without a doubt. But I think that they are putting more effort into I can't say that now, because what has been released this year for the vintage collection and what they've revealed, it's great.
Outstanding, isn't it? It's outstanding.
It's really good. Yeah.
I mean, you were at Celebration, and
yes, yeah, I was.
What they put out is just really outstanding at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, what was it like? I mean, go for that question.
Celebration, it was good. So I'll take you back a few years. We went to Celebration in 2016. We only went for the one day. But at that time, me and Georgie, we didn't really know anybody, as so to speak. We weren't. Wasn't doing my YouTube channel, so we went, and it was just the two of us that went. And we at the time liked collecting autographs. We liked meeting people. So in 2016, we got to meet Mark Hamill. We got his photograph and autograph, and Carrie Fisher. We met her and got her autograph, and Georgie had a photograph taken with Carrie Fisher. And that was it for us, really. We didn't look around. We did look around, but we didn't really sort of like take too much in. So this time when it come round, we were like, yeah, we'd do it for more than, we'd do it for 2 days. And then of course we knew people from the community. So we stayed in London, over near the XL. And we got there Thursday, and then we met up with Scuba, Leslie, Simon, who was it? VTR Dave and his wife Camilla. And we had a meal that night, and then the following morning we went, and it was packed. It was busy, real busy. I mean, we got there for about 8:30 in the morning, and they had this massive warehouse, massive hangar, and it was just like divided up into these like queues and stuff like that. And each queue was absolutely cram packed with people. And we must have been about the 8th or 9th queue to go in. And we met up with Adam Berry, the real toy dude. What a quality guy he was. But yeah, Friday was a very busy day. Very busy day. We didn't get to see any panels. We didn't meet anybody actors for autographs and stuff like that. So we went round. We just took it in. We looked at the Hasbro booth. Obviously, they had the reveals were coming out on the Saturday, so they had like cabinets with signs saying reveal. So then they had the Indiana Jones stuff.
Right.
Yeah, different stalls. I mean, we really enjoyed it. It was great. But the best thing, and I know a lot of people have said this as well, and I'm going to echo what they've said, and I've said it all along as well. The best thing was meeting the people from the community there. Absolutely, because you've got people to share it with. You walking around. The girls, they found like a little spot in a Costa cafe, and they just sat down and they kind of made an HQ there. So the guys would come along, get bits and bobs, drop it off, then go off for a drink or go off and get something to eat. Or do you know what I mean? We weren't in each other's pockets all the time. We'd just come and go as and when. And that really, for me, was the high point of that, meeting people like Scuba Pete for the first time, sitting down chatting with Tim from Bosk's Bounty. What he don't know about vintage collection isn't worth knowing. He's just so knowledgeable. Then meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi for the first time as well. And then people like BOE, DTM Dave. If I forgot your name, I do apologize. But every person we met at that was absolutely fantastic. And Friday was a busy day as well. And we're talking in the live stream earlier that I was on with Scuba Pete. And so you've got a massive walkway section. I mean, the XL is a pretty big place. So you've got a massive walkway, and they've got like little stanchions with and a little Costa and other bits and bobs. And then to the side of it, you've got these massive halls and hangars where they've got all the people at the back are signing autographs. You've got like a live stage. You've got like a collector's focal point bit. You've got all the different booths and stalls that are actually doing the selling. And then if you go over the other side, you've got like the Hasbro booth. You've got the Lego booth, the Pop Funk. You've got the Celebration merch store. You've got the droid factory where you just see all these people that have made these droids, and it was phenomenal. But Friday was very, very busy, really busy. Then on the Friday night when we left, we went and had a meal. There was about 16 of us. We went to a Chinese, had a massive meal, and that was absolutely phenomenal. And then the next morning we got to do it all again, which was brilliant, And like I say, it was. For me, the experience was just meeting the people, because I think that meeting the people gave me and Georgie more than what the actual convention could have given us. We didn't want to stand in line for hours and queue and meet people. Right. We didn't want to stand in line and queue for hours to try and get into a panel. We were quite happy going there, just having a mooch around, having a look, getting involved in the atmosphere, looking at all the cosplays, looking at all the stalls. And then when Hasbro did their reveals, and some of the stuff was just, especially the 3 3/4 inch, the TVC collection stuff was absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I would have liked to have filmed more in there, but the thing is, where it was so busy, I don't like big crowds. At the best of times, I get quite claustrophobic, and I don't have any patience. If someone's dawdling in front of me, I'm like, get a move on, sort of thing. You know what I mean? And I couldn't go anywhere because it was that busy, and I was filming, and then people walking into us, and I wanted to film something, and people walking away, and I'd be like, so in the end, I just put the camera away, and but I feel with that as well, when you're filming stuff, you miss stuff because you're paying attention as to what you're filming, but you don't see bits and bobs. Stu 100% nailed it. It's meeting fellow creators. Absolutely. And I think that's, I took more from meeting people than I did from the place itself. Yes, we could have gone and got autographs, but to be fair, there was no one there that we really wanted to see. I guess Ming Wen Na, if that's how you pronounce her name.
Ming Na Wa?
Ming Na Wa, yeah. The girl who played Fennec.
Yeah.
Would have liked to have met her. She was also what else was she in? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought she was brilliant in that as well. But, yeah. If someone, I don't know, there was just no one there that really sort of like spiked our interest as in that we wanted to go and see. You know what I mean? So we were just happy meeting the people that we met and socialized with. That was the social side of it for me. 100% was just head and shoulders above everything else. So
Matt's right. It's about meeting face to face and having a great conversation and a beer with the community, because you've been, everybody's been streaming with each other, and it's good to sit down in the flesh and meet that person, right?
And the good thing about it as well is that there was no sort of like awkwardness. It was just like a free flowing conversation that we had, and when everybody met up, Ming Na Wen. Yeah. Yeah. We,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have met her, but then again, the autograph prices.
Oh, I mean,
Anthony Daniels. I mean, I met Anthony Daniels way back when. That must have been 1998, 99, in a town called Northampton. And I met
right.
him there. And I think I got his autograph for about 20, 25 quid. He was charging, you know, I know, again, prices have gone up, but even still, he was extortionate
Extortionate.
prices. And I just, yeah. Oh, you know what?
It's like I think Hayden Christensen was there, and I think his
Yes, he
autograph
was. Yeah.
was
Yeah.
was just extortionate. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, they
Ewan
are.
McGregor was there, but he was only there for a while. I don't think he stuck around that much. But I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
I
with
mean,
the
don't get me wrong. I mean, we've
oh no,
we've
no, I
spent
mean, yeah,
we've spent money. We spent money on autographs before. I mean, when we went in 2016, Carrie Fisher wasn't cheap. Mark Hamill wasn't cheap. But you know what? These are people that I saw on the TV in
mm,
my favorite movies, and
mm,
I've seen them in the
mm.
flesh. And there was no way we were going to miss that opportunity. So
No, I
those were
mean,
it
I would
worth the
love,
money that we
I
paid.
would love
Yeah.
to meet. I would have loved to meet Carrie Fisher when she was here.
Well, that's the thing. We
I
saw
would
her in
love
2016, and she passed away that Christmas. You know what I
I would
mean?
love to meet Mark Hamill. Mark
Yeah.
Hamill is a big influence in my life with Star Wars and Batman
Yeah.
animated series with the voice of Joker. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and various voiceovers as well. Plus,
Mm.
he's been in one or two. Oh, he's been in a series. Forgotten. It was about. It was a British series. It was.
Okay.
It was a. He was an old teacher.
Okay.
Knights Templar. It was called Knights Templar, I think.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. He was brilliant in that because he was teaching a Knights Templar out sword
Yeah.
fight and stuff like that. I was going, hang on, that's Mark Hamill. He's in this British thing. So he's been around. Plus, he's had a few choice words to say to Ryan Johnson's The Last Jedi. But that we
Ugh.
won't go there.
No. No.
So I mean, you got to I mean, movies are influenced really uh, on collecting action figures, right? I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
uh, it's huge. Being a collector is huge business, really, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, the thing is, there's so many things that like I say, space. Everybody has the issue of space. I mean, when I was talking to Tim, bless him, from Bosk's Bounty, he showed me a picture, and I thought I got a lot of stuff in boxes and stuff like that. But oh my god! And he used his son, bless him, as a scale, or just to put it in perspective, how much stuff that Tim has actually got, and it's just incredible. And yeah, and let's just say he's got a lot of stuff in boxes, bless him. But
I mean, to be quite honest with you, I've heard some conversations go around with toy collectors and probably me and myself. I mean, the underlining factor and the enjoyment is that collect what you want and
yeah, oh yeah,
enjoy it, really, isn't it? Really, that's
yeah,
the
absolutely. Because I've always said, and I will always say, there is no right way to collect. There's no wrong way to collect. It's down to personal choice. If someone likes collecting something, brilliant. Let them collect it. Don't hate them or hate on them because they're not collecting what you want them to collect. It's a choice. I look. I am still quite new to this as far as meeting you guys are concerned and YouTubing and stuff like that.
same
And
here. Same.
and people's collections, like I say, they're personal to people. And I don't know everything about every toy, but I see a toy line and I think that looks really great in someone's collection. That's fantastic. I want to know more about that toy. I don't have to collect it, but I can appreciate someone else collecting it and someone else's collection looking good. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't it be boring if we
Yeah.
all collected the same thing if we all had our displays exactly the same. That's the beauty about it. There's no right way to display it, no wrong way. People do what they want. It's a hobby. It's toys at the end of the day.
Yeah,
People can take it
exactly
far too
right.
seriously. They take it far too
Exactly right.
seriously.
Yeah,
Just
exactly
enjoy
right.
it.
Yeah.
Do you not think that there's enough crap going on in the world without having to put up with drama and crap in the toy collecting community because someone doesn't like someone because they've collected something that they don't collect? Grow up. It's toys. It's toys.
Yeah.
Do you know
It's
what I mean?
toys.
Oh, geez.
I mean, yes, you can have your opinions on toys.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
not to actually to the extent of
you can't
destroying-
like everything. You can't
Yeah.
like everything.
Yeah.
You just can't. There's certain things that I don't collect because I'm not keen on them. But I wouldn't tell someone else not to clean it. I'd just say, well, look, it's not my cup of tea. So I just try and find something I do like. Simple as that.
It's I mean, it gets a wee bit because I hear it from different channels and I do follow those channels of the conversations and the arguments, not arguments, but the discussions on you know on various details that people are missing in that sort of line.
So keep on collecting, collecting My Little Pony, really? No, I mean, listen, people like collect My Little Ponies, right? That's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I personally wouldn't collect them. But
why are you putting my name there? Why are you putting my name there, Matt?
I think that might be Scuba Pete. But Scuba Pete and Leslie bought me a My Little Pony. I'll show it here. Look, the My Little Pony, and this symbolizes give kids the world.
Right.
That's why they got me this.
Yeah.
This is a keepsake. This means something to me and Georgie because of what we did for Give Kids the World. So I'm not a My Little Pony collector. I won't collect anymore. But this means a lot because of what it represents and what we did for charity. So, really appreciate that, and that will sit nicely next to the Disney castle.
I mean,
so,
Gabby's got My Little Pony, Optimus Prime pony, and that was brilliantly fun and great and fantastic. I mean,
I can picture Shabby sitting there brushing the My Little Pony hair while he's brushing us as well. That's Shabby, bless him.
Good on you, Shabby and folk there. I mean, brilliant. I mean, I've got to say, and I've got to actually, this community has just welcomed me in open arms. Because I'm learning every day from the community.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, do you feel that as well?
Oh yeah. I'm still learning. So I was just reading the G-Force in comments. Stu, I think is that the McLaren sponsored NASCAR just won the what's that say? Is that Talladega?
Talladega. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Stu, the McLaren sponsored NASCAR just won the Talladega race. Awesome stuff. About bloody time they won something. McLaren. Yeah.
Awesome I watched a lot of Top Gear and Grand Tour, so I know what you're talking about. McLarens and stuff like that. So,
but going back to am I learning? Absolutely. Yeah, I am. Yeah, because look, people in the toy collecting community know far more about toys than me. You've just got to look at Scuba Pete or Chris Miwa. Their knowledge. I mean, even Dave C. straight from the pit, his knowledge on G.I. Joe. Scuba's got a vast knowledge about a lot of toys. Chris Miwa with Masters of the Universe. Shabby, he's into Playmobil. He's into Motor Origins. Black Series. So he's got a vast knowledge, and it's learning stuff from these people that I enjoy. I'm lazy. I won't go onto the internet and look up certain things. I'll just hear it from people. I'll just have to sit and have a conversation with someone and listen to them and hear them speaking. And there's a guy that I'm going to be chatting to within the next few weeks. And I've just started watching his channel. His presentation, his knowledge, the chats they have, absolutely mind-blowing. I just love listening to the guy. He's so knowledgeable on so many levels with comics, from Universal Monsters to all sorts of stuff. And the way he presents his channel, the way he comes across, his guests that he have on. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. And that his name is Jim Largo from Largo's Lair.
Okay.
So
Right.
check him out. He's well worth checking out. Who's Stu? Jim Largo, Largo's Lair.
If Orlando's still in the chat, you might want to put the link up there, mate, please.
Yeah. But yeah, what a great guy.
It's actually fun collecting. I mean, I do have my frustrations on actually trying to stand them up because they keep on falling down. Thanks, Orlando.
Well done, Orlando. Thank you, mate. Good man.
But I mean, to actually basically say that I'm veering off. I'm still collecting 6-inch, but I'm veering off 6-inch for a bit just to pick up the ones I want, ones I really want and like. But I'm veering off to actually build like world build on 3 3/4. Because I'm getting to that stage that again room.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to actually love the TVC more because they get so bloody good in what they're doing. And I just want my collecting room to look like you walked into a little movie scene, right?
Yeah.
And do you feel that there's a question here, everybody. Do you feel that your collections change or you're collecting like,
yeah, I mean, listen, I think every collector struggles with space. My main focus that will never change will be my vintage Star Wars figures. My Star Wars vintage from back in the day, the 70s and the early 80s, that will always be the focal point of my collecting and the vehicles. Everything else that I have here, that can change. I can change that out just to freshen it up every now and again.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that. I did a room tour a couple of weeks back, and I'm already I'm already going to be changing bits and bobs in the other room anyway. I'm going to be swapping stuff out and making stuff and stuff like that. Again, going back to what you said about getting things, I've cut back as well. I've cut back on a lot of pre-orders, but what I will be doing is just getting the figures that I need to complete a team. Like I need a K2SO 6-inch to finish off my Rogue One team. I need who is it from the Marvel team? Cyclops, the animated series Cyclops. I need him just to complete that team.
Right.
So
I hear what you're saying.
I'll cut back a lot. Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I like to collect teams as well, but I mean, for example, I picked up Mr. Samuel L. Jackson here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How much?
How
much did you say?
How much?
Did you say a price or?
No. This was quite cheap.
I'm hearing things. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Quite cheap. This was about $20-$25. So it's quite cheap. But on the back here, it's got, if you can't see that, it's got Samuel L. Jackson with his pose. With
thank you, Blue Sasquatch. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
Dennis Neathry's computer, and I would love to actually create a little computer and put that up in a little scene. So
awesome.
So I love the reaction figures as well.
I don't know. I love the card art on those reaction figures. I think they're great. I really do. Do I want to go down the line of collecting another line of figures? Well, saying that, I've got a few of the Transformers ones. So yeah, okay. It's in that pond, but I don't. Again, it's just get the ones that you like. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. But I mean, like you just said, getting the ones I like.
Yeah.
Fit into the aesthetic of what I want to actually do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we've got a store, and they are selling a lot of the Motu Revelations figures cheap. They're going for about £5. And I picked one up the other day, and it was Where's he gone? Oh, it's okay. It was Merman from the Revelations, and it was
There you go, Stu.
Man. Oh, thank you, Blue Sasquatch. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it was Ram Man from the Origins, and they had a couple of other figures there as well. And I thought, well, do you know what? Even though they're on sale and at a really good price, I'm not going to get them just for the sake of getting them. I want to get them because I like them and they'll look good in the collection.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's so I might drop back round and get them at some point, but I'm in no rush to get those figures at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get them all reaction, but
No.
it's just like you said, you know, it is another rabbit hole that, you know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of rabbit holes. A lot of rabbit holes.
No, it's just like the reaction figures are hugely expensive as well. I mean, hugely expensive. It's $45 for one here. And it's just, you know.
Absolute crazy. Absolute crazy. What's this one?
Hey, Wheels of
Chaotic Doom. Something my collecting habits have evolved since 1993. I no longer collect Star Wars. All right, Pete. Here's a question for you, Pete.
Yeah. Hey, Luke.
Would you be happy if money was never an object for you and space wasn't an object for you? Would you be happy with that? Yeah, and you could get whatever you wanted, collection wise, figure wise, or are you quite happy with, the way things are now? Because I think if I had all the money in the world to get whatever I wanted, I don't think I'd appreciate it as much as what I do now, because I know that I've got to work hard to get that. Do you know what I mean? I enjoy going. I mean, wouldn't you get bored? You're just going in. I'll have that, and that, and it just. Do you know what I mean? Would you not? I'll get bored. I like the way things are going.
Yeah, I mean,
as a collector and stuff.
There is a good question. There is a few underlining factors that I would be happy to have more room. I would be happy to have a house instead of a flat, and I would be happy to have what I've been going through for nearly a month now to not have.
I get that. I get that. Yeah.
But as to collection wise, I fall upon yes and no. Yes, to actually buy the ones that you want, but I fall under the category of sometimes you buy on impulse, and it's not very good. It's not very good and healthy. So I would have to rein my spending
impulses
back. Impulses back, but I would be happy to have a little bit more money to do that, but almost to actually train myself to actually not be impulsive. To actually get the ones. Hey, Scuba Pete.
Hey, Scuba Pete. Did we just chat, Scuba? Did we not just chat?
But good question, but really good question. But I would be just happy to have a bigger space.
But well, but wouldn't we all? I mean, crikey. I mean, I'm lucky enough to put our collection over 3 rooms, and I know some people can't do that. So I can't really grumble on that aspect. But you said it's like, you know, you bought an impulse. Mate, you're not the only one who's done that. You're not the only one who's done that. I will bet you any money in the world, anybody in the chat and anybody who's a collector would say the same thing. They've just impulse bought. They've just bought that on impulse. You know, we've all done it. We're all guilty of doing it. So, you know, it's not, it's one of those things, isn't it? Just stop it, Peter. Stop buying on impulse, you naughty boy.
Plastic crack, you know, you snip it once and what. So it's, I mean, I dare say Scoop Pete probably goes into his room and sniffs all his figures. You know.
Well, if that's the kind of thing he likes doing, then fair play. Who are we to judge?
I'm just waiting on the reaction now, Scoop. Anyway, we'll do it. Again, I've been listening to so many people. I mean, my reaction to collecting now is that sometimes I'm sick of all the, dare I say, bullshit. Sometimes I just want to collect and have fun. you know, and do my thing. But on the other hand, I'm willing to learn
Yeah.
of what really goes down in a community.
Yeah.
Do you get that? I mean, you know, it's
Well, listen, listen. I won't say things just for the sake of controversy. If, for example, Hasbro gets a lot of bad stick for some of the decisions they make, and listen, rightfully so. Right, I don't like a lot of the stuff that Hasbro have done. I don't like, but then they've done a lot of good stuff. Every company has had quality issues, right? They had quality issues back in the 70s and the 80s with figures and toys. So it's not like a new thing, is it? It's it's happened in the it's still happening. But to hate on a company, at the end of the day, a toy company is a business. It's there to make money. That is their number one goal. And I find that no matter what walk of life you're in, what you're doing, it's always quantity over quality. It's always about the money, because money talks. So Hasbro aren't the only company to do that. So it's nothing new.
Oh, look at Mattel. So
yeah. But I try to stay away from any sort of like dramas, controversy, any BS that goes on. I just listen. I come on, I chat to you guys about toys. I show off my collection. I show you what I've got. I just do it because I enjoy the community. I enjoy doing it. And the minute I stop enjoying it will be the day I say, right, I'm done. I'll carry on collecting, but I'll keep it private. I won't share it. I won't make videos. Because, listen, it doesn't matter whether you've got 25,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 300 subscribers, right? Everybody that makes a video is taking time out, because it is a long process to do a video. You've got to do the video. You've got to edit the video. You've got to upload it to YouTube. A lot of us are working. We've got full-time jobs. But everybody brings their own personality and brings their own bit to the table. We're all different. We're not all the same. So I appreciate anybody that does a channel. And anybody that does a channel, I've got a lot of time for. Let's put it that way. There's some great people out there with great collections that don't even have a channel. It's just it's fun. It's a hobby. Why you don't have to take it too seriously. If I don't get a figure, it's not the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? If I miss a pre-order, again, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Just why? The world we live in at the moment is just run on bullshit. Let's just have something that we can enjoy together as a community, and just get on and play with our toys nicely. That's all I say.
What's it? Good.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Hey, Mike. Good morning. How are you going?
Hello, Mike. I tell you what, Mike, you left us hanging. You son of a gun. I was watching your video and you was unboxing that box you had, and then it come up and said, "Oh, find out in the next video." That's a cliffhanger and a half, isn't it? I was like, "Oh, Mike, can show us now."
I saw that too, Mike. Going, like somebody out their car door.
Absolutely.
Going,
just show us, Mike.
Good bluff there, Mike. You got us back for 20 minutes. It's here we go.
What the hell? Quick message to say hello, lads. What? You should be in bed. It's a school night. Get to bed, Luke. Goodness me.
Yeah, get off your throne, Luke, and go to bed. Yeah.
He's not going to live that down, is he? Bless him. Bless his cottons.
Not. Well, he did it. So it was. He did it.
He did it. I just showed it to everybody.
So, there you go, Luke. There's a
what a great guy Luke is as well. I've met Luke beginning of the year at Echo Live, and a fantastic guy, a real gem of a guy.
What's this? Is he saying hello to everybody?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Uh, yeah, it's gotta have to be a great hobby to actually collect because it's expensive hobby to actually collect toys. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you gotta have to love it, or
Yeah.
don't do it. So,
I don't know about any. Well, I do because I get the impression that everybody's collecting for the same reason. But I collect for nostalgia reasons because it brings back
right.
memories of the childhood,
Yes, yeah,
childhood
yeah,
days. I can look at
yeah.
my Star Wars figures and say, God, they were days that I loved playing with those great days. But then I can look at the new modern figures and just say, wow, these are fantastic. The way their articulation, their designs, the face sculpts now, the quality of the figures, they do look good. Yes, quality issues, we know that, but it shouldn't happen, but it does. But overall, it's a fun hobby. I mean, what's not to like? What's not to like about looking at toys and going, yeah, remember playing with those as a kid? What memories those were? Or look at these, don't they look fantastic on display and stuff like that? And yeah, I just love it. It's just a lot of nostalgia for me, and just yeah, I come in here and I sit in my room after a crappy day at work, and I just sit here for 5 minutes and just look around me and just think, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The art of unboxing is taken to another level in this. Well, some of us can't get into boxes, Mike. I know I struggle at times trying to get into a box. Yeah,
So do I. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's.
I'll make something so simple look so difficult. I just, oh God. There you are.
By the way, Wheels of Chaotic Doom. Sorry to actually. I'm doing an unboxing, and thank you for getting me that 6-inch Star Wars action figure. Then you got me. It's been a long time, so I haven't done that yet. So the wheels, pardon the pun, are in motion on that one. So yeah, add that in. Um, uh, we've talked about well, I've talked about the connection to movies, to TV,
Yeah,
action figures,
yeah,
comic books, to comics and comic books. It goes
yeah.
hand in hand, right? So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there are so many lines out there. It's just sometimes impossible to actually comprehend. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
You can't collect them all, Pete. You cannot collect them all. It's just, it would be impossible to collect them all. I mean, you look at the Turtles lines. I mean, how many figures are those got? How many different lines have the Turtles got?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Then you've got like other stuff like Thundercats. You've got people that collect Gravestar. There's just so many different toy lines out there to collect. You cannot possibly collect them all. You can't.
no, it's insane. It's just insane, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
with Mattel
Yep.
to Hasbro to Super 7 to all these companies. I mean, they're buying for something your money for one thing. It's just hard
Oh
to
yeah.
keep up. It's with the price hikes, inflations or deflations in some
But then
cases.
that's where you've got to be smart. That's where the collector's got to be smart and just say and know when they've got to cut back. You can't collect everything. I mean, I've kind of learnt that because I was getting loads of pre-orders in, whether it be I recently just started collecting the Transformers Studio line.
Right.
So I've kind of, as if I see one that I like and I need, well, I would say need, but I'd like to add to the collection, then yeah, I'll get it. But I'm not going to go and pre-order this, and this now. You just can't do it. It's money wise, it's too expensive, and then it takes the enjoyment out of doing it. So for me now, I would say the buzz for me would be seeing something that I like when I least expect it, and then just go, yeah, I'll grab that. Yeah, you can have it. Good. Well, yeah. Again, look, Luke. I mean, he's into mask, and I've chatted to Luke, and I've seen his mask collection. The way he's got it displayed with the figures and the vehicles and the boxes at the back, that looks absolutely tremendous. It does, and I'm so tempted to just dip my little finger into that pool, but I know that if I do, I'll be like wanting more, and I can't do that at this moment in time. I
mean,
can't.
yeah, it's some of you guys collections are impressive, most impressive, to coin a phrase from Darth Vader. Yeah, it's impressive what your collections have grown, because some have been collecting for years, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for you, has it been an instant collection, instant getting them? Not click,
No, I mean, like I say, I've been
just
collecting like non-stop now. Well, I say non-stop so everything I've got now is been since what, say 2011, when I started getting really back into collecting again. Like I said at the beginning of the chat, with
right,
the
yeah,
just collecting the figures from Return, the Empire Strikes Back, the Bounty Hunters, then the Best Pin Lot, then Hoth, and then the Imperials. That's how I started, and it's just gradually went on since then. And I had a I would say what's it called? I can't remember the word. I had a smaller collection, but then when 2020 kicked in and everything just went to pot and the world shut down,
yeah,
out of boredom,
yeah,
we all went onto YouTube. We all started watching
yeah.
YouTube. Like, I was watching channel reviews and figure reviews and this, that. That opened my eyes. That opened my eyes to SH Figuarts. That opened my eyes to Marvel, Marvel figures, Mezco, Black Series, the He-Man line again and stuff like that. And I was like wanting to, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See you tonight,
you,
Matt.
Yeah, so it just opened my eyes, and and then I just started collecting, and from there on, 2020, it's just been bosh, bosh, bosh. And then now I've got to come to the point where I'm like, okay, just got to rein it in a little bit. A, for money reasons, B, for space.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm like everybody's probably know that I'm unemployed, so I've got to rein it back in. People may think I'm a bum. Please do.
No, who thinks that? No, you don't, damn it.
Just joking, guys. Don't think I'm a bum.
Silly boy.
live in a flat. So if I was a bum, I would be having a shopping cart and a box. But anyway, that's horrible. Sorry for people who gives generously to the homeless. That's yeah. I'm babbling now. Can't you see? Okay. But yes. Well, we could probably leave it there, really, can't we? I mean, can't we?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's fine. I mean, how long's it been? Just coming up an hour and a half. So not done too bad, have we? Not done too bad.
Yeah, it's been great having you.
Listen, I appreciate the invite, Pete. Really, thank you so much. I love chatting to you, man. It's been a real good conversation as well. Really enjoyed it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, the in depth to the fun discussion of your collection, to money wise, to financial wise, to the inflation wise.
This is just how I see things. These are my opinions. I mean, people might agree with me, people might not agree with me. But that's just how things are for me at the moment. So, but
I mean, I love talking to you, and I love what you did. I love what you did for the well, collectively wise as well, for the charity that you gave money to, and
that was heavy. That was hard work. I won't lie. That was 24 hours straight was a bit daunting. But listen, I've got to take my hat off to each and every one of you guys that A, watched and supported, B, donated, because for me it was a massive effort from the community, and we raised a fantastic amount of money for a critically ill child. So $2,500 isn't anything to be sniffed at, especially these day and age where financial situations for people is tight. There's a lot of generosity in this toy collecting community, and absolutely love doing that live stream. So who knows what'll happen next year? Who knows?
Anyway, everybody, if you haven't follow Stu or sub to Stu on Universal Toy Collector, do so. And he's already got one sub by Blue Sasquatch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate that.
Ryan, if you're still here, just be a little minute. You can chuck up Stu's Universal Toy Collector channel. Let's get in there. It's really it's still early in the morning. It's still early in the morning.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
Have you got anything on for your show coming up, Stu?
This week I was going to do a video tomorrow. I might leave that till Tuesday or Wednesday because it's been a hectic weekend, Pete. You know, talking to all these people, been fantastic. So Friday I've got another episode of My Collecting Life coming out, and that will be episode 38. 38 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow. So again, you know, if it wasn't for the people in the community, I wouldn't have a series. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, there's that. And then we'll just play it by ear, week by week, day by day, and see what comes out and see what happens.
I mean, I love your channel. I do love your channel because
thank you very much.
You are so real and so yourself. Even when you open boxes, you are so genuine. It's frighteningly funny, but really good in a way.
That's I don't mean. Listen, I would rather be out.
We all have trouble opening boxes.
Yeah,
and
the simplest thing in life, I make it look so difficult. So I would love to just come on and open a box and have no issues, but I just can't be. I'm too lazy to edit it out. That's why.
And that's the good thing about it. I mean, you know, you can edit to death and still not get a good product. And when you're just doing it live and just doing it off the cuff, it's more genuine and inviting and more real.
Well, I don't pretend to be anybody else. I'm just me. I'm like this. And now I've got to know people in the community more. I feel like I can come out my shell a little bit, where I was a bit sort of like hesitant to start with. But listen, I'm up for a laugh. I'm all about the banter. I drive my wife absolutely crazy because I'm pretty much like it all the time. I will sit there and just wind her up just for the fun of winding her up. And I try and treat everybody the same. I don't treat anybody differently. I try and treat everybody the same, and that's probably why I don't get anywhere in life at work, promotion, because they don't. I don't know. It's just me. It's just my character. It's how I am. I'm going to change. I don't want to change for anybody. I am who I am. So some people might like me. Fantastic, brilliant. Some people might not like me. I'm okay with that. Again, you can't like everybody, but just be nice, eh? Just be nice.
I mean, I'm like this all the time. Even when I'm having troubles with health, I'm still like this all the time. I go crazy, but that's just me. But that's,
Well, listen, I've really enjoyed being on tonight, Pete. It's been an absolutely fantastic conversation with you, mate. I've really enjoyed it, and it's loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.
I'm what I've always been off the cuff with interviewing and just having a good conversation with people, because I think that's how I do it.
We're all different, Pete. We can't all be the same, mate.
Again,
we're all different. Can't be the same.
People, so you're exactly right. I love this community. I've been welcomed in with open arms. I love that as well.
Yeah.
So everybody, tell your friends. Go and subscribe to Stu, Universal Toy Collector. They're in the London town, where he's just had
London town, boys. Eh? Come over to London, eh?
So where the London Tower is, where Stu people and enjoyed puddings of a sort.
Yes.
And we're just again, thank you very much, Stu.
Thank you so much. It's been great fun. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, mate.
So I think we can probably do this as my cheesy clapping comes out, and I'll see you in the green room after this.
You will.
And thank you, everybody. I've got to just mention, of course, Darth Wizard was in the chat. and Gilster as well. Thank you for joining us. Scuba Pete,
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
guys. Appreciate it, guys.
Orlando and usual Mike. See you probably tonight as well. Matt, G-Force, can't forget you, mate, and whoever I've forgotten in the chat. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you for joining me and Stu on the P.G.M Show. So
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Stu, thank you, Stu, very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Goodbye. Anyway, not goodbye to Stu. He's there. Anyway, I'm going to finish up there. Thank you again for joining me. I'm back for the P.G.M Show. This is my first guest. I've had 8 days off. Well, a little bit more time, but I love doing this show. I love talking to people, meeting people from around the world, and so. Again, God bless you all. Thank you for joining me on the P.G.M Show. Until next time, let's kind of wrong one. Let's do this. Oop. Goodbye, good night, and God bless you all.